oftentimes I've seen with my fellow introverts, they're kind of quiet in the meeting because they're taking it all in. But if they're able to, like I mentioned before, have those questions ahead of time and then be able to not, and because they have the questions ahead of time, they can really be more present on exactly what's going on because they can write notes down that would help them have more creative ideas afterwards and then be able to tell folks, hey, I'm going to get back with you tomorrow. I'm thinking I could probably come up with something more innovative as a result of this input that I got today. But making folks aware that we need that time to think, to ponder, and that we're truly great listeners. Use your listening as your benefit, really benefit you in your creativity and your deep thinking, to come up with solutions that are really great and innovative that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So listening, being prepared. Another thing would be practicing. I like to recommend for my fellow introvert that when you have those ideas, that you can kind of think through how you're going to present them to the group.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. On today's podcast, we have Inga Faye, and she is going to explore her journey and tell us all about where she started and how she got from where she was to where she is now. Inga, I'll let you take the role and tell us about your journey.
Yeah, so my name is Inga Faison-Cavitt. I go by Inga Faye. I'm a mechanical engineer by training. I worked in a chemical plant for over 20 years. And I guess right before COVID, I got laid off. And I felt like that was kind of my line in the sand for me to make a decision whether I was going to continue in my engineering career, which I really didn't like, or if I was going to walk out my dream of being an entrepreneur. So I took the leap of faith and decided to pursue my entrepreneur dream. At the time that I did that, I was in direct sales, and I'm still in direct sales. And I was going to do that. That's how I was going to replace my income. But COVID kind of changed everything because it just kind of opened my eyes to wanting to serve women more than just from a skincare and beauty point of view, that I really wanted to serve women in a way that would allow them to grow into the best version of themselves. So that's when I started my coaching business. And at the time that I started, I was really looking to help people with their mindset because, that was a crazy time for all of us at that particular time. Everybody was trying to figure out how to pivot and what they were going to do next. But then I had some of the ladies that I was interacting with that they were telling me that they were going to wait till it was over. And that just really hurt me to my heart because I'm thinking, you're going to wait. Technically, it's not even over now. So we're almost 5 years into this. So I just really wanted to, for those that were open to it, I really wanted to help those that were open to it level up their thinking and be able to see the opportunity in it and be willing to take the action and really make the changes that they needed to make to level up their life, their business, or whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm. And did you find it challenging at all, like starting or jumping in?
No, because I was already doing it on a part-time basis. So I had a taste of it already. I was just me doing it, bringing it a full circle and doing it full time. I felt like I could do more because I had more time. A lot of the times I was trying to do a lot of things in a smaller period of time. So that was my biggest excitement about the whole thing, how much more I could do because I had more time to do it. So when like I said, I had started off with that mindset coaching and immediately started connecting with folks and really found that my true niche was working with introverted women that were entrepreneurs and really just helping them in their space with their lead generation and sales process, because I know we interact with people a little bit differently than our extroverted counterparts. And oftentimes in my business, I was mentored by extroverts. So they're telling me to go talk to people and do all these things that I really didn't feel genuinely qualified to do. I made myself do it, but I always felt like I was kind of generating some inauthentic energy because I really wasn't being my authentic self. So I really, in my tweaking process of kind of figuring out how I was going to do my business during COVID, I came up with some strategies that really resonate with my fellow introverted entrepreneurs that really have helped me grow my business. And now I'm in a quest to help other introverted folks the same, well, have more success with the strategies that I have implemented without the headache and the heartache that I went through to make it happen.
I
So
love that. I love that you found a path to get from where you were to where you are, and
yeah.
transitioning from a 9 to 5, right? Even though you were doing it on the side, like mentally, what is that transition like, and what does that look like?
Yeah. So going from a 9 to 5 to an entrepreneur is very much a different mindset. In a
Mhm,
9 to 5, people are telling you what to do.
mhm,
As an entrepreneur, you're trying to figure out what to do. So it's a very much a different thought pattern. And I think the biggest thing that I learned in the process of going from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur is that you just have to start.
mm,
Um, as a 9 to 5er, we have been taught there's a path that we go through as a 9 to 5er typically, especially if you're a professional 9 to 5er. When I say professional, that you've gone to school, gotten some kind of degree, and your job is within that wheelhouse that you got your degree in. So you're taught to go to school, get your degree, work for XYZ company for 30 plus years, and then get your gold watch. That's the typical pattern people know about. That's what people are comfortable with. They've seen their parents do it, they see their neighbors do it. They understand that, right? Well, as an entrepreneur, the path is not so linear.
mhm,
I mean, you do something today, and you may have started as I did doing this mindset coaching, and then decide later, you know what, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do. This is not resonating with my audience. I need to iterate to make this work for me. And I got to figure this out as I go. And no, I can't go and look at a book to figure it out. I have to take actions as I go along to figure it out. So that's why I say that the biggest difference is the mindset shift of somebody telling you what to do and you're figuring out what to do. And then while you're figuring it out, you have to avoid the wanting to know, well, what's next,
mm,
because you're not going to know what's next in the past path as you did as a employee. As an entrepreneur, you won't know it until you act. So
mhm,
that was just like the biggest aha moment for me. In addition to that, that failure is good. When I was working, failure to me was bad.
mhm,
It's like, you go to school, you got to get good grades. So who wants to get a bad grade? I mean, that's a bad thing to do. But the thing about it in entrepreneurship, that's where you learn. You
mhm,
realize, okay, this is not what you're supposed to do, Inga.
mhm, mhm,
So you do something else and you try another way, and you're just like, okay, let me see what happens when I do this. And
mhm,
then you do that, and it's just like, okay, well, that was a little bit better, but that's still not where I want to be. So let me do this again. So it's more iterative type of process. And then when you finally figure it out, you learn nothing, because it's just like, okay, well, I figured this out. So now what's the next challenge? So that's the difference, and that's the mindset that I think comes with from being an employee and then really transitioning to being that entrepreneur.
okay, so I really want to dive into this. So if you had to tell that 19-year-old version of yourself that was, in school, going to get trained as an engineer, you're now in this spot and you had to go back and tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself?
I would first and foremost tell myself not to be afraid to fail, because I felt that way, especially being in a very male dominated field, and um, having times when I would second guess myself because I had some of my counterparts that weren't as open to working with a female in a technical type of role. I think that would be the first thing that I told myself, because I sometimes I would second guess myself, because it was just like, well, I'm not sure if this is right. And I'm really I don't want to fail in front of these people. So how do I figure it out, kind of thing. I think that would be the biggest thing that I would say, because they don't know what they're doing either. They just faking. That's what I learned too. They just faking you out like they know because they don't know. So they sitting there just like you, but they trying to put up this front like they know, but really they don't. So if you would just say, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do, and just do it, and then they probably would be more open to say, well, okay, Inga, yeah, maybe we can try. I was kind of thinking that too, but I really wasn't sure. I think it would just kind of allow people to really be their authentic selves and be more transparent instead of faking the funk for real.
I
So,
love that. I love that. I love that advice. And I think we do that on a day-to-day basis too. We're afraid to show our true selves,
oh
you
yeah,
know, all the time, all the time. And it's funny. I want to go back to that even conversation we had where I was trying to get my video to work, and I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, well, the video is not working. I'm trying to have this conversation, you know, and you are afraid to fail in front of others.
yep. But they're
But
just as scared as you. That's the thing about it. I guess that's the biggest thing that I learned. They're just as scared as you. They're just trying to put up this front like all is well.
uh,
So,
I love it. I love it. I love it. So take me into what you're doing now and how people can reach you, and what's the best way for them to get in touch with you.
so the best way to really connect with me would be via my website. It's my name, Inga Faye, Inga, F is in Frank, AY.com. I have all of my socials there. I have all of my offerings there where you can truly connect and really, for us to get to know each other. Because at the end of the day, I feel like when I meet somebody, it's just like a date. I mean, we have to decide if we're a good fit for one another, right? So
Mhm.
just because you reach out to me or talk to me doesn't instantaneously mean that we're going to work together because we may not work together,
Mhm.
So I just want to connect and just see if I am the person for you, and then if I'm not, I can definitely contact somebody in my network of folks that could possibly be a better fit for you than me. But again, we won't know that until we connect and figure that out. So that would be the best way. And how do I help people? I primarily work with female entrepreneurs with those introverted tendencies. And I say introverted tendencies because I found that if I say you're introverted, most people don't want to admit to that because they feel like it's a bad word. So if you want to admit to you got tendencies, girl, then yeah, just come on over, we can talk. And then I want to help you with your lead generation process and your sales process without that random small talk, because I know we're not random small talk folks. So that's what I do. That's how I can help, and would love to connect to see if we're a good fit.
I love it. I love it. And everyone, I'm mixing this up, right? And I am asking everyone about their information first because I feel like, everyone has a short attention span.
Yeah.
But I need you to get what you're gonna get from Inga Faye today, right? I needed to get everything now. So what that means is connect with her if you're liking the conversation, connect with her, find her socials, get to know her, follow her, and we're going to dive into this conversation. All right.
Yes.
All right. So tell me a little bit about how you help the introverted person.
Well, I know for me, when I first started in direct sales, I was told that pretty much everybody was my customer,
Mm-hmm.
which is very far from the truth. But that's what I was told. Although I quickly realized that when I started interacting with my friends and family, because I was also told that we were recommended to talk to the folks that we already knew because they would support us, the relationships were already built. So we could go to them and start talking about sales and not be like, okay, who is this person? They don't know anything about me and they're just immediately talking about sales. And I'm sure anybody that's listening to that has had that DM or that email where they're immediately telling you how they can just make you the best person that you've ever been in the next 90 days if you just take their program or buy their VA package or become a part of their network marketing team because they have the next revolutionary product that's going to take the world by storm.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that said, um, yeah, I help you make the connection similar to what I just mentioned when I was talking about us connecting to see if we're a good fit, so that you would be able to filter people that you connect with instead of convince them that your product or service is what they need or have,
Right.
that you're actually attracting people to you more so than annoying them that you're asking questions instead of assuming that you have what they need, and that you would really want to um, assist. Well, I said that assist and not know, attract and not attack, ask and assume, ask and
Mm-hmm.
not assume is what I help you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love that, because we hear a lot of the strategies being used, like you need to email blast and you need to do all these different things. But sometimes that does not feel authentic to you as a person. And you want
Right.
to find different strategies that will resonate with you. And, it's really important from your messaging, from your first contact, for it to be authentic to you, and you really genuinely don't want to attract the wrong clients, because
Exactly.
having
Exactly.
the wrong clients is,
Bad news.
oh.
That's why I believe in filtering, and that's why I like I use surveys. I have this methodology that I use around surveys. It's called the Savvy survey system. Well, I
Mhm,
teach you exactly how you can truly find out your client. But the thing about it is, I think before you even find out if they're your client or not, you got to know who you're looking for. You
mhm,
can't use the everybody mentality like I was taught initially when I first started in business, that everybody was my client, because that's not the case either. Because I soon quickly realized that they
mhm,
may have skin and they may need what I have, but they may not necessarily want it.
mhm.
So
Very true.
being able to filter those that want it, because if you got to spend all of this energy trying to get them to do something that they don't want to do, it's
Mhm,
a waste of time. Talk to the
mhm,
folk that want what you have, and then it's going to be so much easier and so much more fun, so much
mhm,
more rewarding when you're connecting with those kind of people.
mhm. And how can they identify whether or not they're an introvert or not?
Typically, okay, so when it comes down to being an introvert or an extrovert, because I do get this question a lot, extroverts are people that get their energy by being around other folks. So I guess they would be what you call a people person.
Mhm,
So they would kind of be the life of the party. They're interacting with people because that's how they get their energy. Now, an introvert is somebody that gets their energy by being by themselves. They may be at home reading a book, they may be writing in a journal, they even may be home watching a movie by themselves, but being by themselves is what energizes them. So they get their energy from going in themselves, by themselves, that kind of thing, where extroverts get their energy from being around people, and people interacting with people and getting it that way. So,
mhm,
for instance, like I'm doing this podcast, and I know a lot of people will say, "Well, girl, you're not an introvert because you can talk." And I know I can do that. But when I do these kind of things, it takes a lot of energy out of me. So I give myself space where I have time to rejuvenate myself. So afterwards, if I do a talk like this, I'll go walk maybe 20, 30 minutes just to kind of rejuvenate myself, because I've expended all of this social energy right here talking about something that I'm really passionate about, which I have no problem doing. And typically, introverts, if they're very passionate about it, they can do that too. But
mhm,
girlfriend, after they do that, you got to leave them alone. They got to
mhm.
have their time to recoup and rejuvenate. So that's the difference. It's really an energy. How do they get their energy?
I love that. I love that. And thank you for that explanation. So if anyone's listening and feels like they fall into that category, that's a great way of identifying who you are and what you should probably be doing after you spend that energy getting your information out there. Because yes, you do have to get it out there, and you have to let your voice be heard in order for
Yes,
people to know about your product and service so that they can seek you,
right.
right? Right. So, are there any great tips that you can give to someone who feels like they've spent their energy and they're overwhelmed by just giving that social energy or giving their product to life?
Yeah, well, like I said, the first tip I would give you is to make sure that you give yourself time to recuperate. When it comes to meetings and really social events, making sure you have space where you can actually recharge.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that I do, that when I have meetings, I make sure that I give myself at least 15 minutes in between meetings, instead of going back to back to back to back to back. that can be very draining for us, to the point that I can get really cranky and not be my best self. And knowing that, that's why I give myself a 15-minute grace in between meetings. I put 15 minutes before the meeting, and then 15 minutes after the meeting. So if either goes over for whatever reason, I still have that 15-minute push to give myself that time. Another thing that I would recommend is to prepare. One of the things that I know as an introvert, we're not really shoot from the hip type of folks. So if there's questions that we are going to be asked, it's very good for us to ask the folks that are interviewing us for the questions beforehand. So it gives
Mhm.
us time to actually prepare and think through exactly what we're going to say,
Mhm.
because otherwise we need time to think through, because we're very much deep thinkers. And it's not that we are not good leaders, and it's not that we don't come up with innovative ideas. We just don't do it really well on the fly. So it's really better for us to be able to kind of think through and have that time to prepare and write things down, so we can be ready for you when you are ready for when you are asking those questions in a meeting or in an interview or something like that. Another thing that I would recommend that you do, if you haven't done this before, is to be present. And when I say be present, really be kind of cognizant of your surroundings and that kind of thing. That way you can come up with information or questions that you may have um, as you go through the process of rejuvenating or creating different ideas with the group. Oftentimes, I've seen with my fellow introverts, they're kind of quiet in the meeting because they're taking it all in. But if they're able to, like I mentioned before, have those questions ahead of time, and then be able to not, because they have the questions ahead of time, they can really be more present on exactly what's going on, because they can write notes down that would help them have more creative ideas afterwards, and then be able to tell folks, hey, I'm going to get back with you tomorrow. I'm thinking I could probably come up with something more innovative as a result of this input that I got today. But making folks aware that we need that time to think, to ponder, and that we're truly great listeners. Use your listening as your benefit, really benefit you in your creativity and your deep thinking, to come up with solutions that are really great and innovative that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So listening, being prepared. Another thing would be practicing. I like to recommend for my fellow introvert that when you have those ideas, that you can kind of think through how you're going to present them to the group, so that people can really grasp and understand what you are wanting to share with them, so it can go out smoothly, so you're not stuttering, that you're not you don't seem unsure of yourself, that you're really confident about what you're saying, because confidence is everything, right? Confidence is what sells. So you want to have that confidence to really be able to talk about the solution or idea that you have when you go in front of the group. So those are just a couple of little things that I've just learned just along the way of my journey on what I need and what I've seen others in my tribe need to really be successful and have a good light shined on us. And it's not that, oh, you're an introvert, that you can't lead or you can't talk or you're antisocial. We just think differently and operate differently than an extrovert, and we just need to make sure we have that space to be our authentic selves so we can really shine.
I love that. I love that. There's so many things that came to light. Um, Even when you're speaking about how you like to get the questions beforehand, right? So that you're more prepared. Oftentimes, other entrepreneurs on the opposite spectrum, they don't even see that that's needed because they just assume that everybody operates in the same way and
Same, that's
capacity
right.
that we do, you
Yep,
know? And oftentimes they don't give grace, they don't do the things because they just don't know, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
that's right.
So
That's
I'm
right.
glad that you brought that up.
Yep.
So that's a great tip for someone watching this that may not be an introvert but that's an extrovert, that sometimes or all the time doing a podcast, send the questions ahead of time. Having an interview, send the questions ahead of time. I'm learning from you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, moving on in your journey, what are your hopes and dreams for the next version of your career? Like, what are you looking to do?
Well, I'm very much a person that wants to be in abundance. I've always had this dream of living off of 10% of what I make and
Wow.
giving the other 90% away, and doing it in a way that is helping others really walk out and make their dream a reality, and not doing it in a way that I'm going to be in poverty doing this. That
Mhm.
is actually, I'm making so much money that because of that, I'm able to help so many more people walk out their dreams, still live in a very comfortable uh, manner that I can still do that.
Mhm.
So that when I think about what I aspire to do, that is the dream that I have, that I'm able to really serve and help others walk out their dreams.
And what are some of the things that could help you to get there?
Um, some of the things. I guess it would be more, I guess, people finding out more about what I do and how I can serve them, and the folks that I serve be like super like cheerleaders for me, sharing what I do more about, with others that are like us, so I can help them. So it's not that I am boasting about it, that I have actually what I call super buyers and cheerleaders that are rooting me on, that are sharing me with other folks, that are just making it a movement. And because of that movement, more people are being served, more people are being able to level up their business. So it's kind of like that less, not the Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, that you give more people what they want, and as a result of giving them what they want, then you get what you want, kind of thing. So just
Mhm.
building that strong community of women, that will be able to be a positive influence on the generations to come, because really that's what it's all about for me. I feel like women are the nucleus of everything, and if I can help the mamas and the grandmas be more strong and powerful and creative, that they can then be, raised and strong and creative kids who will then grow into strong and creative adults, which will make this world just a better place. So it's a complete domino effect, by just starting with the mamas and the grandmas who happen to have introverted tendencies, that for whatever reason may have not wanted to step out of their comfort zone or do something different, but because they did, they have a stronger impact on others like them, and just are able just to raise up. We're able to raise each other up together and just make the world a better place.
I love that. I love that. And if you're describing your the ideal woman in your tribe, right? Could you lay her out for me? Who is she, and where is she in her journey, and why would she be coming to you?
Yeah, so Amy is she's been an entrepreneur for a little bit. She's probably done it maybe 2 or 3 years. She's taken some courses before. She's been a part of some masterminds that have not really resonated with who she truly is. She's had some success in her business, but not to the point that she really would like it to be. And she's looking for more innovative ways where she can truly be her authentic self and use her natural superpowers as an introvert, of deep thinking, listening, creating, and empathizing with her client, to level up her business. She's been in, well, I said that about being involved in other things. So when she finds me, she's just like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I'm looking for that person that gets me, as far as an introvert that has been through the trials and tribulations of building a business, using extroverted type of strategies, and now really wanting to excel as an introvert using our superpowers to really level up our business. And then be able to have somebody that's really going to hold me accountable, someone that's like minded and has really big dreams as well, that wants to really make the world a better place, for her kids and her grandkids to come, because she's surrounded around positive, innovative women with introverted tendencies that really want to grow and expand, using being their authentic selves and being the best version of themselves as they grow along the way.
I love that. I love that. And can she find you on social media? Are you on social media a lot? Or
Oh
is it
yeah, I
mostly
mean,
just your
my social media happy place right now is LinkedIn. I'm primarily on LinkedIn the most. I do have a YouTube channel that I connect with people as well. I'm on Facebook as well as Instagram, so I'm on all of those places. I'm kind of on TikTok, but it's not a whole lot on TikTok. But those, I would say, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook and Instagram would be the primary ways that you would find me.
I love that. I love that. And I'm drawing light to who you are and how they can find you, because I would really like that person that's listening to be able to just get all your information, learn about who it is that you serve, so that you're attracting the right people,
Right,
you're
right,
having the
yeah,
right person come to you.
yep. And I guess I didn't say this. The person that I'm looking for is either a coach or a consultant. They're in that space as well. I mean, and when you think about consultants, that can kind of be a gamut of people. I mean, that could go from a lawyer to an accountant to someone that's, actually doing some kind of business consulting to help people level up their business, maybe even a book coach or a wellness kind of folks, a wellness consultant or a wellness coach that's going to help people with their fitness and nutrition. But it's those are the people that I'm looking for. People that are helping other people. They know that the importance of learning. They understand that for them to level up their business, they're not the person. If they haven't reached their goal yet, they have to grow into that person to get that, to become that, to reach that goal and become that person that can achieve that goal. So they understand the importance of self development. I mean, yeah, personal development and growing themselves and continuously learning, because that's how you level up. You don't level up by keep doing the same thing
Hmm.
over and over again. You level up by continuously learning and being around people that are going to challenge you and give you that space. And you see other people doing big things too, and you're just like, well, if Susie Q can do it, man, I can do that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the part that you want to do. I can think of a time where I was in a one of my mentors, she was showing us a video on how she did her video, basically how she was coming up with her video idea. And I mean, she was very scrappy doing it, but it was just great to see the behind the scenes, because we saw the final product, but we didn't see the behind the scenes stuff where she was kind of unsure, not really sure about what she was going to do and how she just kind of figured it out. And it was just like, wow, well, she did that, I could do that. But just having that authenticity and that transparency to show us the behind the scene aspect of it, it just all gave us hope. We thinking we have to be just so perfect and everything in one place, to see how scrappy she was, that we could do that too. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's important for other people to see that.
Mhm. I agree with you. I agree. I think everything has been so scripted. Online,
Right.
you're looking and everything is so clean and edited. You
Yep.
really don't get a true sense of what it takes to get from
Exactly.
one point to the next point. And you kind of feel deflated sometimes, in
Yeah.
that journey, like, oh, it's not the way I want it. But again, one foot in front of the next
Exactly.
will get you from point A to point B.
Yep.
I love
Firm
that.
believer in that. You just got to start. That's what you got to do. You just got to start, and it's going to come to you after you take the action. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to come to you when you sit there and you kind of contemplating, well, should I do it? And I'm not sure. No, you have to start. You have to
Mm-hmm.
start. Just like when I started with that mindset coaching business. I
Mm-hmm.
started. Now, granted, did I have to iterate it and tweak it as I went along? Yes, I did. But I
Mm-hmm.
did start, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when the iteration and the tweaking came. The vision of it came out because I was taking the action. You don't see it when you're sitting on your hands. You see it when you're moving, taking the action.
Hmm. And let me ask you, so when you got into the mindset portion of the business, you're like, okay, I'm going to start this. I'm going to go head first into the mindset. That transition between working the job that you were working, right, into that coaching, like, what did that look like? How were you framing that in your mind? Like, okay, what, I'm an introvert, but I need to go out and get X amount of leads to be able to support myself full time. Like, take me into your mind to kind of understand, what did that look like? What were you telling yourself?
Well, I guess when I started when I started the mindset coaching aspect of it, I had already had my direct sales business. So I knew, as far as the lead generation and that kind of thing, I knew I had to do that. I had to prospect. That prospecting aspect was a must do in
Mhm.
business, because when you're out of leads, you're out of business. That's just
Mhm.
how it works. So the mindset stuff really came about, I thought, from a point of view of working out, because I'm a fitness buff. So when I created the mindset thing, it made me think about, well, I used to bodybuild, so I want to sculpt my mind like I sculpted my body at that time. So I had to put in the work. I had to do the reps, the necessary training and workouts. And I thought about it the same way as far as my mind, that I don't want to be this fixed mindset type of person that, whatever information that I had when I was born is what I have.
Mhm.
I realized that as a growth mindset person, that I continuously can grow and expand my business and how I'm doing things. And that is the mindset that I took when it came to getting leads, when it came to figuring out the sales process. When I realized that when I'm actually helping people grow their business through my authentic sales accelerator, there are basically three steps in my framework, my proprietary framework. One is definitely mindset, because mindset drives everything. Mindset, from your mindset, you have your beliefs, and from your beliefs, you'll then have your actions. So you want to make sure that if you have the right mindset, that's what's going to get the ball going. Then you had to think about the relationships. I'm a firm believer that business is, you build your business through entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is a team sport. You don't do it by yourself. You can't do business by yourself. So making sure that you're continuously developing authentic relationships with people that will either refer you, that will be your cheerleader, or that will buy from you. Or great, you may have somebody that's all three of those folks, but being able that you continuously build those relationships. And then last but definitely not least, that you're nurturing to convert, or really supporting the people that are in your community, in your tribe, knowing that everybody's not going to instantaneously buy from you, that there's what's called a buying cycle, that 2% of the people are going to maybe ready to buy what you have. There are going to be another 2% of the people that, whatever you, regardless of what you say or do, they don't want what you have. And then you got 96% of the people that are marinating, kind of figuring you out. Is this the right person? They're building that know, like, and trust with you. They're getting to know you even better. And as you continue to nurture them and continuously provide that value, they'll go on that super buyer side, or they'll be on that cheerleader side, where they'll really want to support you and your business. And anything that you have, they're just like, if Inga's doing it, I am there, because that's my girl. And I know she's good people. So it takes all of that for you to transition and really understand how to grow your business and figure out what works for you. Everybody's going to have their own little tweak. Like I've figured out, hey, I realize that I don't want to just go up to talk to somebody that I don't know. I want to kind of figure out if they're my person first. And how can I do that? I figured out I could do that with surveys. And that's what I teach other folks to do too. And they feel better about it when they're actually interacting with them, and then being able to determine, okay, if this person in front of me is my person, then we can continue to date. But if they're not my person, maybe they know somebody that I in their tribe that I can meet and interact with after that. But
Mhm.
being able to continue to develop that relationship where you're not just dropping them like a hot potato because they didn't want what you have. It doesn't work that way either. So that again came from trial and error, trying to again figure it out. Very iterative type of process. Well, I did this last time and that didn't work, so let me try this. So yeah.
And how fast are you able to pivot?
How fast I'm able to pivot pretty fast these days, because I'm not. Before it was I could pivot immediately if I needed to, because before I would often think, well, I'm not sure if I want to do that, because I'm not sure if that's going to work, and I'm scared to fail, and if I fail, then that's not going to be a good look. This point, I really don't care, because I know when I fail, I'm going to learn. That's what it's all about. And the faster that I fail, the quicker I'm going to get to the success. So I don't have too much of a problem pivoting now as I once did, because I've built that confidence and that courage muscle along the way. which
Mhm.
is what you do as you continue to figure things out. That, okay, well, I did this last time, so I'm just gonna keep changing stuff until I get the right combination, and it's gonna eventually work.
Mhm. 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 I love it. I love it. Ah, I appreciate you and thank you so much for sharing all of your insight. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience that you think would help them to get from point A to point B?
I guess I've said this a numerous times, but I'm gonna just say it again. Just start. Don't worry about having this grand plan and all of that. My thing is to just start, just to do something. And I promise you, just in you just doing that one thing, the next thing is going to become obvious to you. But you have to start. And it's not going to become obvious you sitting there contemplating and thinking about it. You have
Mhm.
to, as my mother would say, do it.
Mhm.
So you can actually see the magic happen. So just start and don't worry about it. It just has to be dead. It don't have to be pretty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Inga Faye, thank you so much for joining us today. Please let everybody know your social handles again.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. So you can connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn, as well as YouTube at Inga Faye Unplugged. If you type that in for any of those that's going to be where I am, as well as Facebook. So all of that is Inga Faye Unplugged. That is my handle. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn.
love it. Love it. Thank you so much. I appreciated this conversation. I know they're going to get a lot from it. Check out her socials. Thank you again, Inga Faye.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. One tool that I can truly recommend on how you can organize and execute systems is Notion. Notion allows you to seamlessly get information out of your head and into a centralized, organized space. Whether it's documenting processes, managing projects, or brainstorming ideas, Notion can be your go-to platform. As a special offer to our listeners, you can get started with Notion using the link in the episode description. By using our affiliate link, you not only support our podcast, but also gain access to free templates designed to kickstart your journey with Notion. These templates are specifically crafted to help entrepreneurs streamline their workflows and boost productivity. To take advantage of this offer, simply visit the affiliate link below to sign up and explore the free templates available in the resource section. Whether you're a solopreneur, managing a team, Notion can be the game changer you've been looking for. Stay tuned for more episodes where we dive deep into strategies, tools that can empower you as an entrepreneur. And don't forget to subscribe to Entrepreneurial Truth so you never miss an episode filled with actionable advice and insights. Thank you once again for joining us today. Until next time, keep innovating and scaling your business with purpose. Thanks again.